While we're being joined by Coach Samson and the student athletes from Houston, we'll give a couple of notes on their 100-95 overtime win. It's their 32nd win of the season, getting them to that mark for the fourth consecutive year. They also advance to their fifth straight Sweet 16. They'll play number 4 Duke in the South Region Friday night in Dallas. The Cougars also tonight become the first team since 1987 to win an NCAA tournament team or an NCAA tournament game after having 4 or more players foul out. Coach Samson is joined by senior Jamal Shed, 21 points, 10 assists in 44-plus minutes tonight, and redshirt sophomore guard Emmanuel Sharp, a career-high 30. We'll start with the comments from Coach Samson and then take questions for the student athletes. Coach?
That's a perfect record for Houston, to have 4 players foul out and still find a way to win. One of the things I kept hearing was how much better Texas A&M was from the last time that we played them, and how maybe we weren't, and they were right. Texas A&M is a lot better than the first time we played them. Taylor, Obaseki, Radford, those guys are really good. There's a reason why they were dominating the SEC at the end of the year. But regardless of who we put on the floor tonight, our kids didn't play together. They played for each other, and there's a big difference in that. A lot of teams play together, but teams that play for each other. It's the first time I've done this year. Is that we lost 4 starters from last year's team. Jarris Walker, Marcus Sasser, Shimon Mark, and then a special guy in Reggie Chaney. And I hadn't mentioned Reggie other than when we watched him on film, but I brought Reggie up at halftime. I said, what would Reggie do, J1? What would Reggie do, Javier? Because I didn't think either one of those guys played very good the first half. So I asked him about Reggie. And as soon as I said it, out of the corner of my eye, I saw Jamal got really emotional. Ramon got really emotional. So that one was for Big Reg. They were at full strength and played well. Texas A&M played great tonight. I mean, you can tell they're a lot better team than when we played them early. But as good as they play, we had the best player on the floor, Jamal Shed. And sometimes at the end, that's all you need. Now, as far as we're up 12, was that our biggest lead at the end of the game before they tied it? 13. Somebody's going to say, well, what happened? Well, in case you didn't watch the game, let me explain how this thing happens. You go 1 for 2 from the free throw line, and they come down, shoot and miss, balls batted around. Next thing you know, it's somebody spits it out and they make it 3. Okay, with a couple unfortunate turnovers, with a couple unfortunate calls go our way, but you give all the credit to Texas A&M there. You don't make any excuses. Their kids were fighting their hearts out. That's one of the things that makes Texas A&M so good. That's why they won 5 straight SEC games, is how hard they fight. But you saw 2 teams do that tonight. We have a tremendous culture that's built on the kids that we bring into our program. We're not much of a lot of teams, and the portal's been good to us. O.J. Cryer came from the portal. Damian came from the portal. But it's the homegrown guys like Jamal came in as a 17-year-old freshman, J1 Roberts, 17-year-old freshman, Emmanuel, 18-year-old freshman, Javier Francis, 17-year-old freshman, Ramon Walker came in as a freshman. Most of our guys came in as freshmen and stayed. And probably the statistic that it still blows me away in this day and age is in our top 10 players over the last 10 years, we've only had 2 kids transfer that was in our top 10. Now, we had some kids that didn't get to play much, and they transferred, but they weren't in our top 10. We've only had 2 in 10 years. That tells you a lot about the kind of culture that we've built and the kind of kids that we've recruited. And that allows us not to give in. When most people thought after that shot that the Garcia kid shot, I don't know how many threes he's made this year, but he probably hasn't shot very many. But that's how you upset teams. That's how that thing goes. You make hard shots, and they did. They made a lot of hard threes. But when that one went in, I'm sure most people's thought process was, Houston screwed up. They're going to lose now. That would have been the wrong assumption, because our kids are built for that. We gave up a 15-point lead, I think it was, at Baylor. We were up 15. Baylor came back and tied it. Place was going nuts, and we won in overtime. So we had something to draw from. It's my college coach's son. We had something to draw from, and our kids are tough, man. You know, we got tough kids, and in that moment we needed belief, and we needed toughness. Like you said, everybody was fouling out. Sid Lott, number 2, is that his number? Didn't start playing basketball till his 15. We took him to help us in his 3rd year. Well, this is his first. He shouldn't even be playing. You know, we've just found a way. All these years I've been doing this stuff, I don't know if there's a more satisfying win than tonight. Just can't tell you how proud I am of this group. Just really, really proud of this team.
We'll open it up for questions for the student athletes, your name and affiliation, and the player you'd like to direct your question toward, in the back left.
Justin Williams from The Athletic for Jamal and E-Man. Just your thoughts at the end of the game there when Ryan's on the line shooting free throws and you guys are on the bench fouled out.
I was shocked he missed one. He works just like we work, and if I'm being honest, he works harder than we work. Anytime you can ask anybody on our team, and they can vouch for him. Anytime we walk in the gym, Ryan Elvin is in the gym working, helping somebody else work. Terrence was having a really good year beginning of this year because he was working out with Ryan Elvin. That's a guy that we trust and is a pillar of our culture. And honestly, I'm shocked that he missed one. So kudos to Ra, and way to step up.
Thanks. Pretty much the same thing. Ra puts the work in, and he's prepared for moments like this. Our guard coach, Coach Q, he's always talking about, I'm not afraid to put Ryo in because I know he's ready, and that's a prime example of it. Everybody knew he was going to make those free throws.
Guys, we're going to your right.
Jonah Dillon, commercial appeal for Jamal. We obviously heard Coach talk about it, that halftime speech, and just Reggie's influence and impact on you. Just talk about how that affected you and how the halftime speech kind of changed things.
He mentioned Reggie, and I kind of didn't really listen to the rest of the speech. Kind of just started to tear up a little bit. But going into today, round of 32, we have 32 on our jersey for a reason. That dude was a warrior. Played with broken knuckles, stress fractures in his knee, back spasms, and I think he may have missed one game. So when he asked, what would Reggie do? Reggie would fight, and I think we did that the second half.
Mm-hmm. Going right here on the aisle left side.
This is Olin Buchanan from Texags. Jamal, especially there in the first half, y'all kept Wade Taylor to just 1 point. He had 34, I think, the first game against y'all. How did y'll do that? How were y'all able to keep him contained?
I don't think we contained Wade. I'd say they didn't go to him. Obaseki and Radford kind of carried the load the first half because they were actually getting to the rim. And I feel like once we kind of stopped them a little bit, then Wade, kind of took over and tried to do his thing. When you play against good players like Wade, all you can do is try to make him miss. And hats off to him and the work that he's put in, and it's been an awesome journey for him because I've seen him grow from high school, and it's amazing to see him at this level and what he's been able to do. So I don't think we contained him. I think they just kind of went to him a little too late.
Same side in the back.
Emmanuel, kind of a two-part question. I think you were hurt your senior year of high school, right? Just maybe a little bit about that injury and kind of what you've gotten to this point, and then obviously the game you had tonight, you must have been feeling it shooting from deep.
I mean, yeah. At the end of my junior year, broke my leg at an open run. I was in a cast for 6 weeks, and kind of just decided to take my senior year off and come to college early, and that was the best decision I could have made. You know, I got to come here early, experience the culture, and see the game from a different view. You know, I just got in with Bishop and the rest of the staff, and they helped me come back from a crazy injury like that. I rehabbed a lot, and, you know, it's got me all the way to where I am right now. And, you know, my teammates trusted me tonight, especially Jamal, always looking for me. And, you know, shot was going in today.
We're going to check, go to Zoom for a question for student athletes. Dan, go ahead.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. For both of the student athletes, when you hear your coach speak about you the way that he does and about the fight in this team, just what it's like to play for Kelvin Samson and just what it means to you to have him as your leader, especially down the stretch in a game like this.
He only gives credit when it's earned. He makes you work for it, and, you know, he always tells us trust your work. So I think that's the biggest thing I've learned here. Is that if you put the work in, he'll give you the opportunity to show that you've put that work in. And he has the ultimate trust in us, and we have the ultimate trust in him. He's the best motivator I've ever been around in my life, best coach I know in America. And, you know, when a guy like that trusts you, your confidence level is through the roof.
Well, the last one for the student athletes in front of me here.
Jamal, it feels like a while ago, but that putback dunk in the second half, can you just take us through what you saw and what happened there?
I'm not even supposed to go for offensive rebounds, so I'm glad that it went in and it kind of bounced my way. Or if they would have scored in transition, I would have got a butt chewing. So it just happened to bounce my way, and Coach says it all the time. Good things happen when you're playing hard. So it was just a good bounce, and I went and got it.
Jim, we'll let you get back to the locker room. Congratulations on Sweet 16.
Thank you.
We'll open the floor for questions for Coach Samson, beginning left of the aisle on the back.
Coach, same thing I asked those two guys to start. What's kind of going through your mind at the end of the game when Ryan's on the free throw line?
You know, there's probably not a day in the month where I'm not up at the office. I'm a perpetual tinkerer. I like to tinker. Whether it's watching stuff on the iPad, but when I go in on Sunday mornings, it's my favorite time because nobody's there except one person, Ryan Elvin. He's always, Sunday morning, he's on that gun. I've never been in there on a Sunday morning and Ryan Elvin's not on that gun. He is he's such a great role model for our guys. You know, he's one of those guys that has it. Like, he's the best bowler on the team. He's the best pool player on the team. He's the best softball player on the team. He's the best shooter on the team. You know, he was a preferred walk-on. I didn't know what that was until about 2 years ago. We recruited him. We asked him to walk on. I found out later that was a preferred walk-on. But the second summer he was here, the guy that was his biggest fan was his dad. And his dad passed away. And that was a big loss to our program. Ryan's also a great cook. He goes to the grocery store and buys groceries and cooks in his apartment and invites the team over. He's just one of those guys, you know. Somebody needs a ride, Ryan's always taking care of him. He's the guy on the team that when they need advice, they go to Ryan. You know, guys come and go. You know, we've had some sustained success here. You know, it seems like every year we lose 3 or 4 starters, right? But Ryan's been here for 4 years. Jamal's 4 years. Jaywan's 5 years. We've got our guys But Ryan is kind of behind-the-scenes link. I'm so glad you guys are asking a question about him, because I could bring him up and he wouldn't mean anything. But when he stepped up there and missed the first one, I said, okay, he got that one out of the way because he never misses. Then the second one, he just drained. And I almost left him in because he's really good at the top of a 2-3 zone. But as much as I love Ryan, he's got my athleticism, which is not very much. So I put the kid that I thought could help us in his 5th semester in his 2nd semester. But, we were just cobbling it together. Everybody was in foul trouble. They went to the free throw line 45 times, and they played good. I mean, they killed us on the boards. But, we, it's been like this in the Big 12 all year. Close games. We've been in a lot of close games. And, we're very fortunate tonight to win. Texas A&M could have won that game. So, but only one team can advance. And I've learned not to autopsy wins this time of the year. So we move on.
Probably just time for maybe a couple of more. If there is another, while we wait for that, we'll get one from Zoom. Go ahead, Dan.
Dan Tortora, wakeupcalldt.com. Coach, you kept speaking on teams that can play together but playing for each other, and just what that looks like even deeper to go into that, and just how this team banded together for one another in an unselfish, very focused demeanor tonight.
Yeah, well, we're a basketball team is very nomadic. I'm a little bit uncomfortable with all the people around us this time of year because we take pride in being by ourselves. Starting the first Monday in June, our kids are on Mondays, we're on the baseball field at 6:15 a.m. And with our culture, that means they're there probably about 10 to 6. There's nobody there then. It's just by ourselves. And we're working. We have to run 18 100-yard sprints in time. Then on Tuesday, we go up to a parking garage that's got a ramp that we run straight up with pipes behind our back with weighted vest on for time. Wednesday's a shooting day. Thursday is gym day, where it's ridiculous amount of running. Then I time them in the mile every Friday. When you go through stuff like that at 5:45, 6 o'clock in the morning, you learn to respect the guy beside you. He's going through everything you're going through, and I hold them all accountable. I don't treat anybody any different. Doesn't matter whether it's Jarris Walker, Marcus Sasser, Corey Davis, Armani Brooks, Dejan Giroux, Jamal Shedd, Javier Francis, J1 Roberts. If you come into our program, you're part of a special group, but there's an accountability, an expectation to meet our standard, and we have high standards. It's kind of funny watching us being ranked #1 in the nation. I don't know that we ever think that way. I know our fans do, but our fans don't really know us. They just pull for us if we win. I remember the early days at Huffines when nobody was around then. And that's where we learn how to work. And I'm so blessed to have coached that first team that went 13-19. That was the only team that my wife's ever asked, could you get them to sign a basketball for me? So that 13-19, my wife has that ball. We have a lake house in North Carolina, and I see it every summer. She has that ball displayed in a prominent position there. And that's the only one. We've been to Final Fours, Elite Eights, won a ton of conference championships, but she's only got one ball, and that's from that 13-19 team. She appreciated that team because they never quit.
Coach, we'll let you go on that one.
Okay.
Congratulations. Good luck
Thank
in
you,
Dallas.
guys.